You're not unique or special. Calm down.
Bimbo-fi butt rock. Why would you escape your fragile bubble when you could just... So, Noah, I was going to ask you this right before we started recording, but I figured this should be on the air because, well, you know, it's off the air. Welcome back to another week. That's right. This has an intro.
Oh, shit. There's an intro.
Yeah, there's an intro this time.
Insanely
Woo,
powerful.
Intro.
I can't believe that
Only because I said on the air within the first 10 seconds, and I just felt like that was uncouth.
Understandable. Have
Uncouth,
a nice day.
indeed.
I would argue it's
Indubitably.
demonic even.
I would also argue it's demonic.
I don't know. I kind of like a good demonic intro.
You know what? That's fair.
Thank you for your support.
Here's what I was going to ask you, Noah, and this goes for you as well, Dan. I was going to, and I'm not asking this right now, so don't answer. I was going to ask, hey, Noah, did you ever know anybody who wanted to be a professional wrestler when they grew up? And then I stopped myself mid-sentence, and I was like, yeah, of course he did. The dude's homeschooled.
So, actually, I have horrible news for you. I don't think I did.
You didn't know anybody.
There's
Not
some people
wrestler.
who probably could have done it, but like, or who could have like been that guy, I should say, not who could have been a pro wrestler.
Okay. You weren't like hanging out with like John Cena,
No.
Hey, little baby.
and you're like, why does this guy not care?
Little baby John Cena.
No, I was stuck with Brad Cena, you know.
I think
God.
John Cena should get like a cartoon about him as a little kid.
I would watch that actually.
It's like a pup named Scooby-Doo, but with John
was-
Cena.
I was kind of thinking like the old Jackie Chan adventures.
Okay.
So not
I-
young, but like teens.
I think it should be young,
Okay.
or it should be teens, maybe like young teen, like, you know,
Mhm, like
yeah,
13,
very
14,
plucky
15.
13-year-old.
I think it should
Exactly.
be young,
And,
but like he should still be jacked.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
well, yeah, of
he should still
course.
be jacked, and hear me out. The age difference between him and the other wrestlers should still exist. So, like, for example, he would have to, like, in the show, face The Undertaker or something, and The Undertaker would just be a 30-year-old man.
Oh, I thought this was gonna be like a Muppet Baby situation.
No, exactly. It could be, and there's other wrestlers who would also be young, but, like, if you had to go against, like, The Undertaker, he would just be, like, a 30-year-old man.
He would just be
It
the
would
Undertaker.
just be the Undertaker.
Yeah. He would just be, like, yeah, basically just, like, a full grown-ass man.
I'm here for it actually.
And John Cena would be a 13-year-old, but who was pretty jacked.
Yeah, no, I'm sold. I'm fully
This
sold.
is on the TV network, by the way, with the Juggalo Home Improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had a name for it at one point. I've forgotten it now.
I think it was just
It's
the
a-
off-the-air network.
No, it was something else.
Oh,
Because we had
TV.
Bigfoot, Bigger Ally, we had The Sopranos, and we had Juggalo Home Improvement.
Yeah, with HBO Max, I think The Sopranos might be hard to get.
what
Might
makes
be
it so
hard to
special.
get, but like,
What about,
We'll be like
hear
that.
me out, Muppet Babies Sopranos?
I was gonna say we'll be like that Twitch channel that does AI generated Seinfeld content, the one that got canceled.
okay, I need to. They didn't get canceled. They got
No, they
banned.
They got banned, but they got.
There is a
for good
difference.
Yes, I'm aware. It was a joke.
It's
Listen, I
actually
support-
consequence culture.
I
Whoa.
support AI Sopranos for what it's worth. Just not, you know.
AI Sopranos would be pretty good. Except I think that you might have just like an overabundance during some segments of just like duck feeding. You know,
what,
I
though?
think there's like a potential without correction. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're just letting this program run.
Yeah, if it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
runs,
Because
it
that's cheaper
definitely
for the
would-
network.
It would
Yeah.
like accidentally get into an infinite duck loop.
Uh-huh.
They
They'd be
honestly,
like,
the
"Oh,
chat
yeah."
would pop off on the infinite duck loop.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
chat would love
Duck
the
Howard.
Yeah.
I think it would be, a really good thing for the network because there's probably some part of the AI that would be like, oh yeah, before it cuts to break, he's feeding the duck, and it comes back to him feeding the ducks, but now something slightly different. So it just changes little by little, but he's still feeding the ducks every time.
Endless duck feeding.
Endless duck feeding.
I support it for what it's worth. I think that is the ideal form of Sopranos.
I love like doing old people shit like that,
Feeding the ducks.
like feeding the birds, feeding the ducks.
Honestly, there is something really like. I know it's ironic because I've gone on record as hating fishing, but I do enjoy a good like sit on a park bench, feed a few animals, vibe, good time. Bird watching, good times.
Yeah, I
There's
feel
just
like
something
there's
that
like
it brings you peace. It helps resettle you. It brings you back
Yeah.
down to earth.
yeah.
It's almost meditatory. How would you
I would say it
Meditative?
fully is meditative.
meditative? Thank you. Meditatory is when meditation is a predator. No, I think it definitely is. I think I think that comes in different forms for different people. Like I said, I think that for a lot of people, fishing is meditative, but I can't stand it. But I can sure as hell walk through like I would actually argue that even like going through like walks through the woods to an extent is like with like one other person is pretty much in the same vibe.
You know, I will tell you, you don't have to argue it. You don't have to when it comes to things that are relaxing.
I feel like
no one has
listen.
to argue anything.
Because
otherwise, it's not relaxing.
Well, that's fair.
I'll take you at your word. That sounds like a nice time.
I appreciate that.
Also, I feel like specifically for this conversation, I don't think you ever have to argue with Jackson that nature is relaxing.
True.
No, you have to argue though, because I don't believe your bullshit right now.
The thing that would,
and I'm mad.
I'm gonna
Where
go
are
play.
you and where's Dan?
I'm gonna go play League. I find League really relaxing.
That's fine.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I would. I don't, but I would.
Yeah, live your life. That's what having swag is all about, you know?
It is. Having swag is all about
Unless you want to
life.
be a wrestler and you're homeschooled. Then you're still allowed to live your life, but I'm going to make like a comment about it.
Yep, as you should.
See, the reason I don't think I had any friends who were into that scene is, firstly, for some reason, a lot of our parents were big on the wrestling is fake train.
I think we also came at like a wrong time for it.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it kind of went away from like that Hulk Hogan versus the bad guys. And we were in the era where it was like, The Undertaker. And I feel like, call me crazy,
The Undertaker might not have played well with the homeschool Christian circles.
The Undertaker might have been a little demonic.
He might have been a little demonic. See,
I think
luckily
we
for
need to
me,
have, like, a
instead
ruling.
of demonic wrestling, my friends were into martial arts,
I was gonna say, yeah, all of our friends were martial arts gang.
which has no spiritual connotations at all,
None.
ever at
Correct.
all.
Correct.
Which is, I think about that every now and then. Actually, I went to a Taekwondo dojang, and
Did we learn from the same one? I can't remember.
no,
Okay.
we did not,
Okay.
because I only went once.
Oh, okay. That would do it.
So I did not learn. I did some stuff. We had a person who was part of our homeschool co-op who taught us, which we might have learned the same there.
Yeah, I think we learned.
But this one time I actually went to a class, and this guy had a big American flag and a big Korean flag underneath the American flag on the wall.
Nice.
And like,
Are
I'm
you
often
Napoleon
asked,
Dynamite?
why, oh wait, no, there was no Korean flag. No, because that was part of his whole speech. There was just an American flag, and he's like, I'm often asked, why is there an American flag here and not a Korean flag? And I always answer, because I'm in America. And in America, the American flag will always fly, blah, 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 blah. That type of shit.
Insane.
And it blows my mind on a very consistent basis, the number of people that actually are able to, in their head, they think it's a thing that not only is it a cool thing you can do, but it makes sense to remove the spiritualism from martial arts.
Yeah, then it's just violence.
I mean,
that's the thing.
That's the thing. That's what they want, right? Like,
Well, yeah, of course.
It cuts away all of the responsibility, like literally the Spider-Man-esque great power, great responsibility element of you are learning so that you never have to use these techniques.
It also eliminates non-white cultures.
Yeah.
yeah, it's both.
And
It's
that's
100%
another
both.
important part of it. They want to monopolize violence on on our national level, and they want to minimize the effect of other cultures. And whether or not it's some kind of like grand conspiracy thing that makes this happen, or it's just people have been conditioned to behave this way, and so they continue to perpetuate these issues. I think it's mostly both. I don't think the average dojo owner in the United States has ill intent or racist intent, but they are participating in a deeply racist system.
Yeah.
Whether or not they know it. They're just
especially,
probably
like-
thinking they're teaching 8-year-olds how to punch, but like
Yeah.
it goes deeper than that.
And what's especially a bummer is like good teachers understand the philosophy behind it, but in an attempt to like sanitize it, they don't teach it as the philosophy behind it. They just try and instill good morals into the kids without realizing that that's actually part of the entire process that you're supposed to learn. It's how can you have such a great respect for an art form and then totally miss the point? I actually will never understand that specific issue of like people who love something so much that they like totally don't understand how it works.
I mean, that's extremely common. That's you get that in everything.
I know,
Everything
it's-
from movies to like art to
It's so
fucking
common,
music.
and I just don't get how it is that you can say, because I get like,
Largely male ego, if I had to take a shot at it.
okay, yeah, that's
It's not
definitely an
just
issue.
men though.
Why would you escape your fragile bubble when you could just accept things at face value and not think?
I
Listen,
understand the idea of being someone who's really into rock music, not really getting jazz, something like that.
Sure.
But not to the point where you would argue that something's like not to the point where you would sit down and like argue about something being a real expression of music or not. Like anything that's not rock guitars.
They love doing that.
It's the same thing with like all kinds of shit that people like, they appreciate it so much and they don't get it to the point where like, you know, rock music, which was originally like a big rebellious type of statement, and the same people who love rock music because they just think it goes hard don't understand that rap music is also a rebellious statement, and that's why it's so unappealing to you, because you're part of the people that the music is directed against, but you don't like to hear that. So instead it's just, oh, this is trash and it's garbage, and you throw every bit of it away because you don't like being challenged even slightly. Yeah,
because I mean, even modern shit rock is rebellious. It's just, look at what it's rebelling against. Like a band that gets dudes who join the military at 18 to scream at minorities, that's rebelling against the idea that you should behave as a member of society who respects people. You're rebelling against the status quo of don't be a fucking piece of shit most places you go. That's rebelling. You're just a bad person. So like, you still have that rebellious spirit, you just won't accept that you first of all took it from black culture, and second of all, you're dumb as hell and you're mad that people are asking you to, hey, can you use they, them when you refer to this person? And your response is, I'm going to play Five Finger Death Punch so hard right now, bro.
Yeah.
Shut up. Although I will say, that's coming back.
Five Finger Death Punch?
I think I called it about a month or so. I called it maybe even further than that ago on the podcast. But Butt Rock is coming back 100%.
Oh, 100%. See, I only recently
and it's happening now.
recategorized Five Finger Death Punch in my mind away from a mid-metal band to, oh, they're a butt rock band. It only just clicked with me.
I think that Five Finger Death Punch has no place in the butt rock resurgence because they're exceptionally bad.
No, I'm definitely
talking
have
like,
no place.
I think that people will, you know, there's going to be a number of people mad at me for saying this, but bands like Pearl Jam, those types of more innocent butt rock that are still kind of butt rock, and like even Creed, some songs.
Creed
Nickelback,
is so distinctly
like the harmless,
is butt rock
the
bad
harmless
rock?
but overrated butt rock.
Okay, so for the
I have no clue what the
uninitiated,
fuck you're talking about.
Okay, so butt rock is like a very specific type of music. It's not bad rock. It's butt rock. It's so yeah, you know, Pearl Jam is a grunge band, but they live in the butt rock sphere because of usually it's vocal stylings.
Yeah, Pearl Jam was such a good grunge band that butt rock copied their swag so much that they just kind of became butt rock.
Like the style of singing, like with Creed, like that kind of stuff, where you slide into all your words and you try to do this like gruff but still hitting your notes voice. Nickelback, yeah, Nickelback's big on it. Godsmack is a butt rock band. It's a lot of it is also like the type of stadium rock that you would hear. Like in between, if you've ever been to a hockey game, you've listened to a lot of butt rock in between the periods and stuff like that.
But like, butt rock isn't coming back as butt rock.
No,
butt rock is.
It's coming back.
And again, this hasn't happened. No, not even that. It's coming back bimbofied. This is the bimbofication era of butt rock. I'm calling it. I've been calling it, and it's starting to happen. You love to see it. Stay with me if you want the hottest trends. Bimbofied butt rock is genuinely on the rise.
I gotta be honest. That explained nothing.
The issue is
Google
that
it.
The best way for me to explain butt rock to you is to just give you a playlist that's like, oh, this is butt rock.
It's like Nickelback, you know?
I understand Nickelback. That one I got.
Yeah, that's butt rock, so you know it. They all sound the same.
Yeah, every now and then you get like Stained and you got Lips of an Angel, and that's their acoustic butt rock song.
That's by Hinder.
Hinder. My mistake. I apologize to Stained.
Piece of shit. Fake fan. You thought Stained, the band that made fuck. What did they make? Fuck.
Go. You got it.
I got nothing. Trapped made Headstrong. It's another one of those bands.
Oh, that's another one.
Just dropped a vowel.
Trapped. Stained did
Outside.
I'm on the outside. I'm looking in. I can see through you. See to the real you.
I don't know that one actually.
Wow.
I might know it if I heard it, but I don't know that I know that one.
Here, I'm gonna drop a playlist here for Dan. Jackson, you can also appreciate it. this was an eye-opening moment for me because like I'm listening to this playlist and I'm like, okay, we got a lot of butt rock here. But then out of nowhere, there's
You
a
thought
lot of
Outside was Stain's biggest track?
That's the
It's
first
not
one I saw.
No, their biggest track is It's Been a While.
Oh, I hate that song. I didn't even know that was Stained.
I didn't remember it was Stained, but that's it.
So,
It's been a while.
So this is important to tell you this, Dan. This butt rock anthems playlist is not all butt rock.
It's true, it's slightly inaccurate, but it's fun.
Yeah, you know, you got like Rob
vibe.
Zombie is not a butt rock artist. Disturbed is a little toward the metal side of butt rock. Avenged Sevenfold is not butt rock. Buck Cherry is probably one of your greatest iconic butt rock guys.
Buck Cherry is great for an example of butt rock because who the hell cares about Buck Cherry?
I know so
And
many
that's
people
why.
that like.
That's because Buck Cherry comes to Erie like every year. It's
You know
like
what?
the Fray.
That's true. That's true.
Like the Fray comes to Erie every year, so people in Erie are like, "We love Daughtry and the Fray and Buck Cherry." It's because they're the only bands that fucking come here and don't play at the theater. They usually will play at the actual arena.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of arena bands come to Erie, which is weird because it's the Erie Insurance Arena is actually really nice.
But what I was gonna say is because like you know we have Korn and Slipknot on here, Papa Roach. I guess Papa Roach could be close, but like there's a lot of stuff that does not belong in the butt rock field on here. But they put fucking Skillet in here, and that one threw me.
Skillet maybe, but Skillet was on its butt rock was on its way out into like emo core.
Yeah, because when
like
Skillet
shit
was
emo,
around
like-
during butt rock, they were a weird like verging on like hardcore type band, like post grunge action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely. What do you mean Atreyu is on it? God, this is an absolutely awful playlist. There's just a lot of stuff that's
the problem is that playlist tried to get too big.
Yeah.
It tried to make a 20-hour playlist. You didn't need that.
No, you need 3 Days Grace, Seether, Stained, Hinder.
Puddle of Mud.
Puddle of Mud needs to be. Oh my God, Puddle of Mud.
Fucking hates me.
This is the most wild experience for somebody who only has like a tangential knowledge about half of these. Actually, 3/4 of these.
That's super
That's not
fair.
so bad.
I think
I only have a
just
knowledge
fine.
of these because of this playlist. Like and not just playlist, but because of the genre recently. I've never listened to this shit. It sucks ass.
That's fair.
But it's hilarious now because it sucks ass.
That's very fair.
That's why it's coming back.
I like reeling from the sheer amount of information, frankly.
Literally, just in this past week leading up to recording this podcast, I've seen like 4 or 5 TikToks that are like, me when listening to Nickelback becomes illegal. And it's like pretending to be arrested.
Dude, it's
I've
lot
seen a
of people
couple of
that
those
doing
different
that.
butt rocks. Yeah, you wanna know why? Because it's coming back. And I called it. I was fucking right.
You know what? I'll give it to you. You did call it.
Yeah. You know, trend setting and whatnot.
Speaking of Nickelback, I saw an interview with them not too long ago. Because like it was just like I didn't watch the full thing. I just watched like some clips of it, but like it was talking about like basically essentially how the band is doing now. Like they're kind of in this post meme phase, right? Like for the longest time, Nickelback was definitely just like a meme of a band, but like they're still doing stuff, and like the fans hated them for it for a while, and now they're like winding back around. To Jackson's point,
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting to me.
It's a bimbofication of butt rock because like it's not culturally dominant anymore. When it's culturally dominant, it's not fun. When you take over the culture with this like music that's a lot of times was pretty shitty. Like in terms of what the actual message of the songs were, not always, but like fucking Lips of an Angel is just about like 2 people cheating on their partners with their exes. Like it's just a song about people that suck ass, people that are butt. And that's why like the bimbofication of it is more of the, it's not a genuine love and appreciation of the genre, but it is having a good time with things that are meant to have a good time with. Like you're just like, yeah, it's fucking butt rock. Yeah, she fucking hates me. Like, yeah, it's not good, but like, yeah, who cares?
I get that.
People that make good music, you know, there's plenty of them. There's just as many that make bad music. So might as well remember one that was like, damn, this was a top hit.
It is honestly frightening to realize how many top hits of the last few decades are just like absolute ass music.
Well, I mean,
And like you can look back and
that's because
find
they
a
fall
lot
out
of
of the
hits.
cultural like knowledge. In the early 2000s, people were like, shit from the 80s is garbage.
Were they?
But then it comes back around. Early 2000s, like
everyone
2001,
was.
2002.
I was gonna say because that's like what I associate.
You were
with the early
5.
2000s. That's fair.
Like, I think a lot of people also will think the early 2000s, yeah, like 2014.
No, I'm thinking like 2000. I'm thinking literally 2005 is what I'm thinking.
In fairness, I think it depends on your cultural knowledge source, because my parents had no issues with the 80s generally. There
Yeah,
was
my parents
some
do.
like stuff about that where it's like, oh yeah, you know, the 80s kind of cringe, weren't they? But that's when we were getting our information from a closed loop, shall we say. I'm gonna trust Jackson on the general public knowledge of bands.
It
and
also
public
wasn't your
opinions.
parents saying that it was cringe. It was the youth, because the parents were saying it's not.
Also, yeah, I guess that is important.
That's how like the cultural loop kind of works. Like, we're just at a point where like it's been 18 years since 2005. Yeah, the shit's coming back ironically because it's retro.
I mean, look at the
being a
big like
dumbass
Britney
piece of
Spears
shit.
resurgence.
Yeah, like, well, that was like she got like her life back on track. That was like a feel good story too.
It was.
But like, I think mid 2000s shithead culture is like coming back as a somewhat like ironically appreciated thing. The same way like Rubik's Cubes did back in like the late aughts, you know?
Sure. I don't feel, kind of like to kind of Noah's point. I don't know that I have like, I don't know that I have enough. What's the word? Cultural context, for lack of, maybe would be a good way to phrase that. Like I just
That's
simply like I don't necessarily agree or disagree. I simply don't. I know what I know, and that doesn't necessarily line up to what the actual situation may or may not be. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like disco, you know? It got absolutely obliterated in terms of everybody hated it after it peaked. And that's what happened with butt rock. Everyone hated it after it peaked, and then it got so hated that it actually became underrated again.
That's true.
Like people hated Nickelback so much because they were the most overrated band on the planet.
yeah. I
But
like
they
that.
hated them so much for so long that now
Now
Nickelback
it came back
is genuinely underrated,
Yeah.
which is like, what?
Well, it's almost like a you've gone too far in the other direction, right? Like you've gone too
Yeah,
deep
exactly.
into hating Nickelback, and now we're at the perhaps I judge you too harshly phase.
Yeah. Because people who hated Nickelback, there's tons of people who I bet have never even heard a song like How You Remind Me. And they were like, yeah, Nickelback's garbage. And then they're like 19 now.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, I'm not saying it's coming back with millennials. Millennials are not catching on anymore. You're out of the trend. I'm sorry. If you're a millennial, you're done. But like, and this isn't even me. Like, I'm on the cusp of that. But like, Gen Z is like 19. They were barely born when Nickelback was big. You know, they were a toddler.
Yeah.
Probably their parents listened to it in the car, though, because their parents weren't hating it, but the rest of society was. So they kind of vaguely remember it, but everyone hated it for their whole life. And now all of a sudden they listen to it, they're like, it's not that bad. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. I think that's extremely valid.
Finger on the pulse, you know?
Fascinating.
That's my goal anyway. I might be wrong.
No, I think
It's
you're
all
not.
speculative.
I think you're not wrong. I think you're absolutely.
I don't
correct.
think so either. I'm just trying to, you know.
Trying to give yourself an out.
Yeah, well, not now. I'm just trying not to be like too pompous. But I think I'm probably right. But it's also inconsequential if I'm not. And if I'm not, I'll be like, yeah, I was wrong as hell.
Shit, dude, sure was. I simply can't disagree. I think you're absolutely right.
You know,
Another
I've given it a
podcast
thought.
history moment.
Yeah, a couple months ago when I was working at the coffee shop and started listening to this playlist and showing it to people. That was kind of my like moment where I was like, yeah, you know what? This is coming back. And like, you know,
Yeah,
it's making the
right.
rounds. And I'm not saying I did it. It's not that.
I think you did it.
You know, thank you. I am single-handedly responsible. I don't think I'm responsible or even that I did it. I think I just grasped the trend ahead of time and could see why it would trend.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things of like,
Early adopter, not like
Yeah.
a trendsetter.
yeah. I see you.
I'm not gonna lie though, it is kind of cool seeing stuff that like was generally like thought of as not great come back, and
Yeah,
in a way
100%.
where people appreciate it. Like some of the stuff, it's like, I guess that probably could have stayed gone. But
Yeah, I also want to add to the end of this that in, I'd say, 35, 36 days, this shit's going to suck ass and then no one's going to like it anymore. Who knows what they're talking about?
the bands who were actually good from the era are gonna still shine out and be like, oh, look, it's Pearl Jam. But like,
Yeah, but the revival is like it's a blip. And by the time it gets around to the people who haven't even thought about it yet, it'll be over. Because that's how trends work. You know, people will start listening to it, and then it'll be overhyped because now the 19-year-olds have it too much, and they don't get to let it go
Yep.
or let it simmer. So now it's fucked. So I'm calling that now, and then people will be like, oh, yeah, you know, it was a trend, but it was an annoying trend. Didn't start that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like even like the Tumblr thing where like it caught back on again, and then because it caught back on, it got really insufferable really fast. Because turns out it sucks when people like things. If too many people like them.
I was going to say, it sucks when people are liking things and that's their whole personality.
I just will like something and then share it with people and then they'll like it and I'm like, this is fun. And then I just see that like trend get like a little larger and I'm like, well, can't like that anymore.
Yep, I feel that.
Can't have shit in Detroit. It took my porch.
Damn, not the porch. That's so sad.
Well, you can't have shit in Detroit. I played the new Fire Emblem game.
Ooh.
Did you know there's a new Fire Emblem game, by the way?
I've been getting nonstop ads for it on my TikTok, and I don't know how to tell TikTok that I do not care about
That's
Fire Emblem.
crazy.
You hold down your finger and then you
No,
mark
I do.
on it.
I do, and then it gives me... the amount of times I've... For certain games that have come out recently, the amount of times I've had to been like, please stop showing me this, please stop showing me content from this game, please stop showing me content from this game, and it does it anyway because it's popular in the gaming sphere, is insane.
Yeah, no,
I felt like the opposite. I didn't know the game was out until it was already out.
Oh, wild. Yeah, no, I've been getting a lot of ads for it.
Yeah, I haven't
It
seen
came
a
out
single
like a
ad
month
either,
ago now.
but I did know it came out only because my sister has been into it.
Well, it came out like a month ago, and that's when I found out it came out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it came out 2 days ago. That's crazy. And then I picked it up the other day because I was like, why not? Mostly because I accidentally issued like a Best Buy like reward certificate because I was gonna buy something with it, and then it was like, that's actually, you can't buy that with a reward certificate. And I was like, well, shit, now I have like $50 that I have to spend at Best Buy in the next like 30 days.
Yikes.
I'll buy the game. Not the end of the world. And I've got the game, and I was probably gonna play it eventually, but yeah, it might suck.
Oh no!
Like, it's fine, and like the gameplay wise is fine, but like it's just I don't know.
It's just
I've only played like the first 3 hours of it, which is to say the tutorial, because Nintendo doesn't know how to get their shit together, and make a game that's part of a long running series that people have played 15 entries to, and then they'll be like, would you like to play the tutorial for 3 hours where we explain to you that an axe is actually a sharpened weapon with a wooden handle? No, because I figured that out when I was 4 and saw an axe and was like, hey, mom and or dad and or person who is older than me with me, what is that device? But thank you anyway, I suppose, for elaborating on that. Yeah, it's just like a shitload of tutorials and a shitload of like, it's a little heavy on the dialogue, which is normal and fine.
Yeah, standard.
But like your player character is assigned God at birth. And you are literally, genuinely, a divine, all-powerful, semi-immortal creature that everyone looks up to and worships. And maybe it's because I don't want to be that, but like I don't like being that.
Yeah,
and I don't like pretend to be a player character in a game or playing like a long-form role-playing game in which people refer to you as like your divine grace.
Yikes.
Do not call me that. Call me like Brother Bear or something. Tell everybody.
Fuck, how dare you put that back in my head.
Yeah, that's a good ass soundtrack.
That's a good
Phil Collins
soundtrack.
did that one, by the way. Much disrespect to Phil Collins on that soundtrack. Nobody gave him any love. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Unreal. He deserved it.
Standard.
It's just as good as Tarzan. Like shit, he crushed that Brother Bear soundtrack, and no one listens to it.
Here's the thing. I simply have not seen Brother Bear as many times as I've seen Tarzan, and I can make an educated guess as to why.
I think I can too.
Yep. It's because it's bear.
No,
it's because furries.
Yeah, that's
The
definitely
furries-
it.
So
There's
true.
not a different reason.
No other reason.
What's the other reason? Demonic!
There it is.
Demonic! You
I
got
knew
it.
Brother
He got
Bear was
there.
demonic. There's so many demonic things. We need to get like a governing body to just make a list so we just don't have to worry about it anymore.
We do. It's called the Catholic Church.
No, because their list is garbage.
Oh, this sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Did you guys know it's Lent?
It is
I
Lent.
didn't know
Yeah.
it was Lent. Yeah.
Every
I
year.
actually had to
This is like
explain Lent to a coworker because he
Thank
had
God.
no knowledge of what Lent was.
Catholics are quaking. But this is the time of year, every year, where I'm like, oh shit, Catholics are out there still. Because I don't know anyone that's like a practicing Catholic. But every year I'm like, everyone around me is like, oh yeah, it's Lent, by the way. Lent. Do you celebrate? No, I don't do anything for Lent. No, I don't do anything for Lent. But then it's just like everyone still acknowledges it and it still happens, and there's still a lot of people who like don't eat meat on Fridays, except they eat fish, which doesn't count as meat.
I feel the same way about a lot.
And they eat meat on Fridays and St. Patrick's Day this year. They're allowed to do that.
I had a coworker of mine who grew up very like extraordinarily Orthodox Jewish, right? And I kind of had the same like shock talking to her, because it's one of those things of like I literally can't name a single Orthodox Jew full stop that I know, and well, I can name a few Catholics, but no Orthodox Jews, and like finding out, oh hey, they do all the like all like there are so many traditions that are still upheld with that, with like with like Sabbath, Shabbos, and Passover and stuff like that. As a different name, I cannot remember the name of it off my head. But
I think with Orthodox communities, though, it's a little different because most Orthodox, not even just Jewish, but most Orthodox religious communities are really insular. So most people don't know someone who's a member of them.
That's
you know, I happen to know someone who's a member of like an Orthodox Ethiopian Christian church, which I think is I'm not sure the break off point or where the schism for that was, but it's like again, they're members of a very insular Orthodox community, and it's neat to see because outside of work and college and maybe some hobbies, you don't really meet people who are members of those communities.
No, and like not like out of a bad thing, it's just they simply don't. You don't.
But with like Catholics and Lent, it's more of like, oh yeah, that guy like Brad from over there is like, my mom's Catholic, so I'm not gonna eat any beef today,
There was somebody on,
and like it's just such a different way of observing the tradition.
So the other night, I made a joke referring to, oh yeah, Italians are Catholic, and Dan tried to call me racist for that, which I maintain is a really like bad take.
They're different countries.
Italy and Catholicism.
The Vatican City.
Yes, the Vatican City is different than Italy. It's its own little country city. Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, where's it at though?
I hate to say this, but it is in Italy, surrounded by Italy.
Holy shit.
I think
that's awful, dude. Wait, does the Pope know he's surrounded by Italians?
That poor man.
Dude, we got to get him out of there.
Someone should warn him, really.
That's why they moved the papacy to Ardoon in like the 1100s. That's why they did that. They were sick of the Italians.
Aren't we all, really?
But anyway, I think the cultural impact of having like a tradition-based religion like that is so interesting to see. Because like really conceptually, I don't have beef with Lent. Lent as get it? Because you can't have beef. Get it? No, but like
you can most every time. There's like 6 days you can out of like 50. It's not that big a deal,
Right, it's just Fridays.
Yeah, it's not like you're. That's the thing. I'm like, come on, you're all right. You're not giving up that much.
But I like the idea that like for 1 month out of the year, you sit down and you're like, I'm giving up this thing to try and focus on who I am more and blah, blah, blah about the religious elements of it too. I think honestly that's not a bad thing to me. I think the idea of giving something that you feel that you're a little too into up just for a little bit, just to be like, I'll come back to this later, but like something that you can live without, that you just use too often. Like obviously you're not going to give up your smartphone. We're in an era where if you have a job, you need to have a phone, but I don't know. I like that idea. And I really do wish that like religion wasn't so heavily like part of traditions like this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for Catholics, it's not.
That is the funniest thing about Catholics, right? Like
obviously
that took me a second.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's not the case with Catholicism as a concept, but the rural American Catholic is very much a product of being removed from any kind of direct or even indirect contact with the papacy for likely hundreds of years, and most of the time they're just like, I go to Catholic church go to mass on Sundays because I go to mass on Sundays. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how Catholics in our area are, and go off.
This little corner of Pennsylvania has some really awful Catholics in it. Not awful in the sense that Catholics usually be awful. Awful, like the Catholic Church as an organization, but awful in the sense that they're just bad at being Catholic, because being Catholic is just going to church.
Yeah, and that's they don't even always do that. A lot of times they don't do that.
Yeah,
at
sometimes
all.
they tie the little extra when they go because they feel bad.
Yeah, like it's it's funny. I didn't realize that so many people thought that all Christians celebrated Lent.
I honestly, when people don't realize that Christians and Catholics are very different from each other, it blows my mind. Like, what's his name? Fucking Neil Gaiman didn't realize that Catholics and Christians are not an interchangeable term because both sides have beef with that concept. And that man writes religious fiction.
Yeah.
How does he not know that?
I think a lot of times people who focus on religious fiction or are part of a spiritual group that isn't Christianity in America will oftentimes underrepresent or understand what actually is going on in terms of belief structures and like history. And, you know, like there actually is. Like there's a reason that a Lutheran is not an Anglican. Mm-hmm. And like I don't personally care. But I think that it's weird to me that there's people who are like, nah, sure, like I get it, but at the same time, like, yeah, there's a difference. And if someone's actually practicing this religion and it's a part of their life, I feel like it's important to respect it.
To an extent.
Like, at least to a degree where you're willing to not lump them in with people that they're saying they aren't.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, because I
like
don't
if
know
someone
the
came up
difference
and said they were like an Orthodox Jew, I would not identify them with another group that is from the similar theistic umbrella. It's not the same practice, it's not the same culture, and often at times it's not the same ethnicity. And I think that sometimes like people will write that off for American Christianity because it's such a harmful structure. But like,
yeah, understandably so. It's
a dominant one too.
Yeah, that is also kind of, I think, the problem is that because it's a dominant culture, it's kind of easier to not give a shit about it.
Yeah, and for so many American Christians, if you're not with them, you're against them.
Yeah.
And you can be with them if you're like, I'm Episcopal.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's something. Also, Neil Gaiman, the reason Tumblr is bad now. Almost solely. Have you seen a single thing he's posted on Tumblr?
No, actually.
Is he shitposting?
He's
not shitposting. He's doing the same thing he's always done, but more people who
I thought
care
Neil
about him
Gaiman
are
was
there.
all right. I thought American Gods is cool. I thought Neil Gaiman's got some good work under his belt. Cool stuff. All right, guy. I've seen him post on Tumblr no less than 3 times. And I think that he sucks ass, and I would never touch a thing he's done now.
Is it?
Which is crazy.
Is it?
He's posted so corny on Maine that I'm like, this guy is worthless to me now.
I'm like scrolling through now because I'm very curious.
It's just like the most blasé, like, posting.
Oh, that's fine. I don't know. Being boring on Maine isn't a crime.
Maybe being corny on Maine, though.
I don't see necessarily the difference.
I think being corny on Maine in a text format when your thing is writing makes me be like, As a person, I have no problem with him, but as like I no longer like desire to seek out his body of work.
That's fair, I guess. I'm like scrolling through and I'm not seeing anything that's like that's standing out to me, but that's also just like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, no, Jackson, you're incorrect. How dare you?
He's posting like obviously not word for word, but the same type of shit that's on the lines of like, we are the modern Dumbledore's army. We are the ones who will fight against the evils that is the blah 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 blah. You know, like obviously bigoted institution being compared to stupid thing that has nothing to do with the real world consequences that are being perpetrated by a bigoted institution because you're interacting with the world through the context of pop culture in a way that is unhealthy.
Yeah. I see you.
Posting.
I get you. Okay, that makes more sense.
And I'm just like, Again,
Yeah,
no
not for
dig
you.
on him. I'm sure everything I've heard, he's like a nice guy, good person.
I do tend to like his work from what I've read.
Like
of it.
I said, I think American Gods is like real good. I think it's it's a good idea for a story. I think it's really fun. It, lost me at some points, but that's okay.
Yep, that's fair. I am also personally a big fan of Good Omens. That was a really fun book to read. As that was kind of like.
Yeah, I'm not familiar as much, but like I've also heard good things.
It's honestly.
And The Sandman, I've heard really good things too. But I'm sorry, it's not happening now.
Unfortunately, I've heard like kind of mixed things on Sandman, to be honest.
Oh.
Which makes me very sad.
I did a pretty American thing the other day.
What was the American thing?
I just took like an apple and I cooked it with some like
let's go.
molasses.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, wait. I need to, before we move away from this, Nina enjoyed Sandman. If you would like a positive voice, Nina read the comics and also enjoyed the show. There's differences, but help. They didn't mind it.
That actually really, really helps. Tell them I said thank you.
Will do. Anyway, you cooked an apple in molasses.
Yeah, tell them I cooked an apple.
I'll also do that.
I put some white sugar in there and some molasses, and I just like cooked it with some butter. And I was like, man, I'm like a goddamn pilgrim.
I'm going to say it. Not enough people appreciate the difference between the different types of sugar when cooking.
True.
Agreed.
Not even a question.
I wanted to use like raw sugar, but I didn't have any, so I did like the molasses, and granulated sugar is a substitute.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I think that like I think that the world of apples is so fucked by Honeycrisps.
Yeah.
And I think that
Sorry,
Honeycrisp people.
Second I thought you meant like the cereal, and I was like, the fuck are you talking about?
No,
that's Cookie Crisp, actually.
That's Cookie Crisp and Honey Smacks is what you're thinking.
And honey grams, I think.
Honey Grams is one. Yeah, Honey Grams are really good.
Honey grams are really good.
and
That's why I was so confused for a second.
Honeycomb's good. Honey Grams underrated though. They're a sleeper hit.
Honey Nut Cheerios, exactly where they belong.
Yeah, precisely where they belong.
Yeah. Perfectly even.
It's like a version of Cheerios you can eat without being like sad, but not too happy.
I was gonna say, if you eat plain Cheerios, I do worry about you.
Yeah, if you eat plain Cheerios, you're not even like putting some blueberries in there.
There's something wrong, and like
you're probably low in your cholesterol or something.
That hurts a cry.
Whatever
for
it says on the box.
It might just be a cry for help. I gotta be real.
Did we really let Cheerios do that for so long, huh?
What?
Put the "we're good for your heart" on the box?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course you are, bitch. It's grain.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, that's fine.
But, like, it's not like Cheerios are like, whoa, you gotta get the Cheerios. They're like, they help. No. You gotta eat grains. It helps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't lie to me, Walt.
Honestly, we need more oatmeal boxes that say good for your heart. They all do, but we need more as well.
Yeah, it just like, Cheerios, they kind of got away with it. Like, there's not, like, more grains in Cheerios than there are in Honey Nut Cheerios.
Sure.
In fact, it's probably there's a lot more sugar and there's other stuff in there, but, like, it's the same amount of grains. Like, we let them do that to us.
We really
let them. People probably ate a shitty bowl of cereal and they're like, well, I gotta do this every day because my doctor said lower my cholesterol. And they could have done better by themselves.
They could have been better.
You know?
They could have done anything, really.
But the Cheerios got them. Anyway, I cooked down an apple. And I think that Honeycrisps, like Honeycrisp apples, are the most insufferable apple to exist.
They're the worst apple. That's not even...
I think that they taste good, are the worst apple because people who talk about them are like, did you know actually the guy who invented Honeycrisp apples had 10,000 apple trees and tried one over and over again until he found the perfect apple and then crossbred that tree to make a... Yeah, sure, it's good.
Yeah, dude,
like, oh, wow.
That's how fucking...
Oh, yeah, you found out about biology, bitch.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're not unique or special. Calm down.
Yeah. Like, and again, they are good. They're fine. I love all apples, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's a time and a place for all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the disrespect. People clown on Red Delicious so hard. Like it's not edible.
I mean, I personally...
It's a different texture. It's a different flavor profile. You may not think it's great for just a straight eating apple, but guess what's great about apples? You don't have to just grab it and eat it right there. You can do different things to it.
Yeah, it's a cooking apple, not an eating apple. That's the point.
Same with like a Granny Smith. They're like, oh, it doesn't taste good. Like,
Granny Smith is one of the best cooking apples.
If you grab
there,
a Granny Smith and just take a bite out of it, it might not be for you.
Yeah.
It could be, but it might not be.
Yeah.
For me, if I'm just eating an apple, I go with a Macintosh. I think it's got a great aroma, great flavor, but I also think that there's no bad options.
Yeah. I've been really into Pink Ladies lately.
Yeah, it's a classic apple.
Pink
great
Ladies
color.
Are so goddamn good.
My great aunt Marge, you know, she was whipping up that freshness in the kitchen with a name like Marge. When I was born, I think she was in her late 70s. So she was like, she was around. I think she was born in like 1910. So she saw cars get invented.
That's right.
And she used Pink Ladies for applesauce. Unreal.
You know,
but
that
she
makes
also,
sense. Kind of a
she also
nasty
didn't
mealy
just use
apple,
Pink
but
Ladies.
it cooks up good.
Yeah, it was a Pink Ladies, and then it was also just an assortment of whatever other apples were readily available, because trees take a while to grow, you know? And, yeah, she was good.
I think my biggest thing for an apple is, and actually the reason I used to go for Granny Smiths for a while is that crunch. But the problem is that like when I feel like when I get Granny Smiths in the store, they're always a little overripe and they're soft, and then they're just tart and soft, and I'm out. That's it. You lost me. If my apple doesn't crunch, I don't want it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I think honestly the Red Delicious has a real good crunch to it. Like it's got a nice break.
It does. Absolutely. And it's why it's one of the better ones.
True. Yeah, I think that apples are great, and I wish that people wouldn't shoehorn themselves into being like I eat Gala apples, I eat Fuji apples, or Honeycrisps are technically optimal. No, they're not technically optimal.
Yeah, nobody cares if they're
because it's
optimal.
Fucking fruit.
Yeah, it's used for different things.
It's just an apple.
Yeah,
it's not. You can't optimize it. You can't win. You can't win fruit.
I mean, you can kind of win fruit.
You can't.
I mean, that's how bananas came around.
Yeah, but they didn't win. We lost so much.
I mean, sure, but
think of what we lost.
We lost the shitty version of bananas.
No, we lost the older version of bananas, and it's lost.
It is.
The banana is gone.
That is sad. We lost. What was the other one? The What's the
old Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts. Do love me some Brussels sprouts. But old Brussels sprouts were weren't they bitterer, more bitter when we were young? Isn't that the?
I think that might be a little true, but I think.
Because it was like in like the 1990s, like
50s.
I thought it was
60s,
90s.
I think.
That
oh, really? It was that recent?
Started, yeah, it was super recent. Like it really started shifting over into like, oh yeah, Brussels sprouts are good again.
I think a lot of that's just people actually eating them. Because the same thing with like broccoli. I remember people being like, "Oh, broccoli's like a gross vegetable." No, it's not.
Yeah.
Want to know why it's not? Because vegetables is the same. Vegetables is mustard. That's it.
Yeah.
Broccoli is this mustard. It's a variation on it. It's a domesticated version of mustard. Brussels sprouts, domesticated version of mustard. Cauliflower, domesticated version of mustard. Kale, domesticated version of mustard. Lettuce, domesticated version. It just keeps going.
It's just all one food.
They're all, it's the astronaut with the gun. It was all mustard. Always has been.
It always has been. I am both intrigued and horrified on some level at the amount of food that we've managed to get out of like
mustard.
One fucking base plant.
No, it's good. It's a very, very malleable. I mean, but also look at weed.
True. Yeah.
That's another one plant, but they're like, you go into the weed store and you say, excuse me, weed store guy, my foot hurts and I'm having a hard time sleeping. And then he'll be like, oh, you've got to try Omega Ranger Ass Blast Kush 3. I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably the one that will help. And they'll be like, yo, it's actually specifically for foot pain. First of all, I call bullshit on most of that. But secondly, yeah, plants are cool, man. We've been, like humans, we've been domesticating them bitches for a long ass time. Because, as much as it's weird that we've got so much out of mustard.
Yeah.
I got some bad news for you about the origins of life.
Damn, that's crazy.
Because it all came from mustard.
It all came from God, clearly.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Demonic. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I was demonic posting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, demonic.
I rebuke thee.
Thank you.
Honestly, you're a false shepherd, and God will strike you down.
That's so true. I deserve a good old rebuking. But if you look at the origins of life, like it all came from just like one shit anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
So like, fuck it. We ball. You making kale and Brussels sprouts.
I do. Oh, I was gonna talk about fucking. Is it Silphium? Is that what it's called? The one that the heart shape is based on. Because we're talking about domesticated. Well, it's a herb, but domesticated shit. It's this. My one little piece of like botanical oddball knowledge, right? It's called Silphium. I believe it's just Silphium. I think that's how it's pronounced. It was like the Greeks and Romans had it, and they fucking used it into extinction.
It was that good.
It was, because it was an aphrodisiac and a contraceptive.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
they took that away from us.
They took it away from us, dude. This isn't even.
It made you horny, and you couldn't get pregnant.
Yeah, no, it's actually wild. Like it's I've pulled the Wikipedia article on it now, but it's gone. Like you know what? Like by the 2nd century BC,
I bet it's not. I bet they're hiding that shit.
They're hiding that shit. The Romans.
The liberal
not the
Romans. The liberal elites down in Hollywood. The Italians. They're hiding this from us.
It's where the one of the theories is that the heart symbol, like what we associate with a heart symbol, right? Is from either the fruit or the seed of the silphium plant.
It had a whole ass fruit?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It was like another one that was like, it was also used for medicines.
Look what they took from us.
Let's see. Hippocrates wrote about when
Them boys was fucking too much.
Hippocrates was used to treat cough, sore throat, fever, indigestion, aches and pains, warts, and all kinds of maladies. That also may be one of those like, throw some leeches on it, it'll be fine. But still,
That's true. Yeah, but imagine if leeches were like fun shaped and tasted like herbs.
yeah, dude.
Like if someone was like, "You got to eat cilantro; it'll help you with the sore throat," I'd be like, "I don't know about that, but I'll eat some
I'm not
cilantro."
gonna say no. Exactly. No, it's super interesting. It's one of the like I said, one of my only pieces of like.
No, it's really cool though.
Yeah, it's weird. And it was like such a big deal. It was like on coins. The Egyptians had a specific glyph just for it. It was quote worth its weight in denarii or silver coins or gold. Legend said it was a gift from the god Apollo. Like it's wild. It's absolutely wild that we fucked it into oblivion. Which I mean, I'll be honest, I get it. I can't be that mad. Still sad about it, but I can't be that mad about it.
Yeah, that's weird, but that's cool,
right?
I love when like things just aren't anymore. You know,
I don't.
It's sad,
it's
also like it's interesting to see the process that some people go through trying to get them back. Like have you heard about the project they've got to recreate the oryx?
I'm sorry.
What? So like 2,000 years ago, before cows existed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably 3,000 years ago. Before cows existed, they just had oryx. Auroch, I think it is. But like the oryx, they talk about it. Shit, they talk about it in the Bible all the time. All sorts of ancient texts. They're constantly talking about oryx. An oryx is just a cow. But we were like, we gotta milk this shit better, and this shit gotta taste better. So many times across the planet, in so many slightly different ways, that now we just have cows, and they're gone. Like the OG ones are gone.
Is it related?
We just have like, we just have cows.
Okay, so it's just all domestic cattle coming from that. I was gonna say, is it
it's
like
just like
it's not?
There was just like this animal that people were like, yo, this thing has really good milk and it tastes good when you eat it. And then like it just everyone was like, yeah, it's a good idea. We're gonna keep them motherfuckers around. And then they just divvied them up, and they didn't go extinct in the way that they were like slaughtered. I mean, partially, yeah, like in the wild, but
we forced evolution on them.
And even if they weren't killed in the wild, they were brought into flocks, herds. You know, if I'm like a Auroch family of 4 in a field, and then there's like a giant herd of like 200 cows over there, I'll be like, oh shit, let's go see what they're up to.
Yeah.
Oh, free food?
Damn, what them cows doing?
Yeah, and then eventually, you know, they just kind of got bred into extinction. Kind of like people think what happened to like Neanderthals.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like just not like a mass extinction in a murdery way for like oryx, but a little bit of that was happening for sure. It was also just domestication. It changed. And there's like projects trying to bring them back because it's very doable. I mean, we still have the gene stock, you know?
Yeah.
Like we have their information, we just don't have it all together. So there's like, I think like the Texas Longhorns, like that, I think the Brahmas are the closest thing to them genetically, and then like Highland cattle are very similar as well.
Interesting.
So there's like different projects to breed, like, you know, like an Irish cow with like a Highland cattle, and then they bring in like a Texas Longhorn, and you know.
That's so cool.
I
love that kind of shit. That is
you can just
the most
like,
insane
and it's
thing.
not even making a new cow; it's making an old cow.
Yeah. God, I feel like I don't know what, like, I find that kind of shit so interesting because it really is like,
it is,
it's Jurassic Park. Like, it is, in a way. Yes, we're not doing
it's like Jurassic Park if they just started making different chickens fuck until we got dinosaurs again.
Yeah. It does make me wonder if, like, you could do a similar thing with, like, I mean, I guess you couldn't because we don't really have any hair-covered mastodons anymore. Not really.
Yeah, I don't think that one would really
I'm like, thinking of, like, the other ones that are, like, gone now. You know what I mean?
Because we don't have that like that genetic information because it was an extinction
murdered,
as opposed to a domestication.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, I feel like if you start getting the ideas together, maybe there's options. But with the Auroch, it's more of a possibility because it happened within the last, you know, couple thousand years,
relatively recently.
So it wouldn't be quick, but within a couple thousand years, and even less with direct
was it even like a couple
breeding.
thousand that they disappeared ago?
I don't know like the last official identified one, died, but like it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very possible to redo it. It maybe will take time, not 1,000 years, but you know,
That's so cool, honestly.
a little while.
I love that.
Yeah, they got funding and support, so like hopefully that project keeps going.
I find this is one of those things where I'm like, I find the idea of so like we've had obviously, as we all know, we've had genetic modification for a while, right? We've been able to do some weird funky shit for a while. But I find it really interesting it's like when they were like, oh damn, we cloned this sheep. Like for real, we just cloned it. Like that kind of shit is so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Conceptually. And then and I also find it interesting, like almost not entirely, but to an extent, like on an ethical level as well. Because there is I think there is some kind of conversation that could be had about like, is it?
It's called I just looked up. It's called the Taurus program.
That's a rad name.
It's like the Taurus program is like.
That's a fucking
I got
sick name, dude.
And their like logo is an ancient like hand cave painting.
That's fucking sick.
Because that's what they were painting. Here's like an article on it.
Fuck yeah, that's rad.
It's just like they're like, yeah, what if we just,
what if we unfuck the thing we fucked up?
let's just go. Let's like make wild cows again.
That's such an interesting concept. It is kind of like a it is. I do think it's a little bit of the like unfucking the things we fucked up, right? Like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
especially because when you look at like their desired, like what they'll be like, this is the result we wanted. This is as close as we think is like realistically possible. Mm-hmm. It's not that different. It's like a 10% like more wild looking cow.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a little more cow.
Wild.
It's like they just made it like more cow per cow.
Well, and I like
less friend per cow.
I'm like reading through it and I'm like I love the I'm very curious about this whole site now because it's
species reintroduction is one of those things where there's been talk of doing similar stuff with dodos. Mm-hmm. That's a little more difficult because that's another extinction. But yeah,
this is so interesting to me.
The idea of being able to like do stuff like this and move away from like the need, or I mean like not the need for factory farming, but like the how everything has been cut down due to stuff like that. Just like even across the board, like trying to bring other like things that we've destroyed back.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's so fucking cool. And like what a
yeah, like butt rock, am I right?
Like
just
butt
like
rock.
butt rock.
Oh my god. There it is. We brought it back. Just like butt rock.
Just like butt rock.
Just like it. Damn.
No difference. None.
I think this isn't even a hot take. I think that like if you were to reintroduce oryx to the wild, I think that they would probably like butt rock. I don't know what their civilization would look like, or if they would have like music.
So do you think they'd have a civilization?
I don't know if they would like be able to cut a deal with Sony to get like some kind of like amplifier or something, like some kind of like music sound system.
I thought you were gonna say I don't know if they could cut a deal with Sony for a record deal, and now I
don't think they're gonna make it right away.
I want the sound of oryx.
I think they could, and I think they should.
I don't know if they'll be ready. I think they've got other stuff to do first. I think they could like listen to some like butt rock while they build their like cities.
Yeah, I think they could, and they should, frankly.
Guy who thinks they're bringing back an intelligent life form.
No, I was letting you. I love it. I love this as a take. I think it's a good and funny take.
Because like cows used to be just like people.
Yeah, dude. I always find that interesting when people are like, but we don't know. Maybe the dinosaur. Every now and again, it's not like a serious thing, but every now and again you get like, but the dinosaurs could have had civilization. They were around long enough, and it's like, dude, they could have, but also like at this point,
maybe
at this like, fucking point, it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, like they clearly didn't have that good of a civilization, or like nothing to take notes from.
Nothing permanent. They didn't have anything permanent.
Yeah, and even if they did, and it got washed away by millions and millions of years, like. That's like an L. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, we can't. There's nothing we can do about it.
Like, that's your fault, dinosaurs. Don't do that next time.
Shouldn't have been around for that meteor, idiot.
I mean, you say it as a joke. I say it sincerely. They should have known better.
I mean, 5,000 years ago, when the dinosaurs were killed by the flood, I rebuke you guys for your take, by the way.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Demonic.
Oh, thank you for rebuking me. Thank you.
You were letting demonic presences in when you talked about dinosaurs and old. Dinosaur bones were put there by the devil.
Correct.
And oryx, they were put there by God.
I do keep thinking you're saying orcs, ORCS.
God, that'd be so cool.
That would be rad.
We're finally bringing back orcs.
Oh yeah, you hear they're bringing back the orc.
Yeah, like the concept.
Like they're just like, oh really? You like look outside. There's just like a bunch of like green guys with like swords. You're like, oh man,
Damn, not again.
they brought the orcs back. Who did
That's
this?
so crazy.
I would be if like now maybe this is a hot take, but if I like open the news tomorrow, more like go to work. But if I open the news tomorrow and they're like, hey, by the way, they made orcs again, I'd be like, again? And also
Also,
where?
why?
They're like, they just did.
I would have layers. I would have many a question for sure.
It's just like, yeah, the government of like Paraguay just like they've been making orcs for the last like 20 years and didn't tell anybody. We got orcs now.
Just kept it a secret. Can't tell people. Be weird.
Like like the government's like, oh yeah, like I don't know why Paraguay is the one to blame for this, but I think they might be making orcs.
Classic Paraguay. Honestly.
Can you imagine if in the year is 2000 and what was it 1, 2, 3, whenever, and George W. Bush is like, I believe they have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
And orcs.
No, the orcs are the weapons of mass destruction. He's like, if we have evidence supporting the claim that they are making orcs.
Press a little click on his little like presentation.
Holy shit. They're making orcs over there.
I'm trying to like logically. I'm trying to think what is the benefit on this. I also that was what I was gonna say earlier.
Orcs are badass. They
orcs
go like
are badass.
Wow, and they have like I don't know, like a whole bunch of rusty armor.
That's true. These are both true facts about the orcs.
So like, what's the downside? Like I don't know why you're upset that they're making orcs in Iraq.
More like orc rack.
That's
like that.
Gonna be.
I didn't like that one. That didn't feel good. I didn't like that.
You can't just pan through. There's just like a whole bunch of green guys there now. You're like,
I was gonna say I do find it kind of interesting. Not like something that like I think about a lot, but every now and again I do think of like we do the there's like because we mentioned I mentioned like just super briefly, but like I do think there's like an interesting ethical conversation about like the genetic modification of like intentional forced evolution essentially.
Well, they didn't do that. They just made orcs.
No. I'm going back to the sheep and like the orcs, and I think it's a really interesting concept of like ethically, obviously not okay, ethically not a good thing. Yet
to make different breeds of cattle.
I was gonna say for people.
Oh, I was like, huh?
I was gonna say for people, obviously not a good thing, right? That's objectively no good, right? You're essentially just fucking promoting what's it called? Eugenics, which is obviously bad. Taking the obvious eugenics problem out of the picture. I find it really interesting, and it does make me wonder. It's like, could something theoretically be done with humans at a like obviously not at the same speed, like not at the same scale, but like is that a thing that we could have done at some point?
Yeah, they're making orcs.
We could we have evolved humans into orcs? Is where I'm going with this. Like,
no, because the orcs are different.
Are they?
Yeah, they're orcs. They're like green and they have rusty armor. We went over this.
You could make green humans.
Yeah, but where would they get the rusty armor from? Orcs can make it.
I don't know. I just went and saw Wicked this week, so that was a green person.
That was not an orc.
Kinda. She didn't have rusty armor.
No, she's like a witch.
Oh, orc witch?
No, just a regular one. Orcs have shamans.
Yeah,
oh, you know
true.
what? That's on me. That's my bad. Sorry.
Warhammer has taught me a lot.
I just want to.
And
I want to apologize.
Really, you don't know that orcs have shamans.
I want to apologize to our orc fan base. I've learned from my mistakes, and I'll be doing better.
I don't believe
you. Can't apologize to orcs. They're just gonna get you.
They're coming.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get you.
Those orcs, they know. This
guy made the orcs angry.
They know. They know what you did. They know your sins.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like lame that we don't have that.
Things that know your sins? No, we do. Once again, we do have orcs. The Catholic Church.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, Catholic Church.
Hey, tell us what you did wrong. We promise we won't ever use it against you. We also want some of your money. People then be like, how come there's like so much organized crime in Italy? Or there was. I don't know, man. Maybe because there's the Vatican City inside.
I mean,
that's where.
I don't even think it's.
That's where the real orcs live.
The real orcs
under the ground.
The real orcs inside.
Yeah, there's
the
orcs in the
Vatican
City, probably. That's why it's a separate country, so that they know investigations can happen.
Oh.
Yeah, they got orc labs there. I'm telling you.
I hate orc labs. To be clear.
Yeah, it's like it's ethical. Like the orcs are also doing the science. They're not good, but like.
I mean, it depends on what definition of orcs, right? Like if you're talking like Tolkien-esque orcs, those guys are just like grown essentially in a lab. a ground lab, but a lab nonetheless.
I'm talking about real orcs.
Yeah, the ones in Warhammer.
No, the real ones.
Mm.
The ones in the Vatican City.
The ones that are based as
In
hell.
the lab.
real
In
ones.
the Vatican basement.
Yeah.
They don't let
I'm
them out
talking about
that
the real
often.
orcs.
Oh, who was? I saw a video just speaking of the Vatican, and they're like, "This is proof
sorry, you
that
had
the
to speak of the
Catholic
bad
Church
thing.
is demonic." And
Oh, I rebuke them.
though they did too. But the video
Oh, thank
was
God.
it was literally, you're looking at statues that have quote unquote satanic images on them. You have like paintings and wall art that they exist to tell stories, but these people are so fucking stupid and brain rot filled that they look at these and they're like, because this is here at the Vatican, that means that they worship Satan. And it's like, no, dude, the Vatican is like the fucking library of a huge
Goddamn
pillar
orcs.
of like Christian theology and religion. They just happen to
orc
have the
society.
bad stuff too because they're there to have it all. Sometimes you have to have an orc, you can't.
Thank you.
They gotta be there. But yeah, no, it's like his, they'll see like,
In the
oh,
lab.
statues of Lucifer. This is evil. Oh, there's a fucking anything there. And it's just like, oh, this is demonic. Dude, it's art.
It's a big library.
It's a library that the Pope lives at.
It's a demonic library.
That the
And with the
demonic,
demonic
Pope
Pope.
lives at. Actually, in fairness, there is a huge movement that thinks that Pope is the false Pope. There's like a massive split.
Which one?
The current Pope is, or like the Vatican Pope is the false Pope.
Wild.
Do you know how we took over Essex when Harry and Meghan left?
Yeah.
What if we made a run for the Vatican? If this was the false Pope, what do you guys say we
I'm just saying,
find the
he's
right
a little
one?
old. I think we can outlast him.
I think that Noah's the Pope.
I've been hearing that too. Many people have been
Noah's the
saying Noah's the
So
Pope.
true. Pope Noah. Pope Noah.
Pope Noah. Let's go, Pope No.
I think Dan's the Pope.
Dude, this is one of those things where I'm gonna hop on the same train that I hop on every now and again, where I'm like, damn, I would really like to go back to school and like get a master's and start teaching. Because God, dude, I would be the most chill Pope of all time.
I'm telling you, if I was the Pope,
dope.
Yes, Pope dope.
I'm telling you, if they elected me to be the Pope, like if the Pope Council did, I would double orc production.
You know what? Honestly, you have my vote.
Thank you.
I'm down. A
We-
vote
we
for
gotta
Jackson is a vote for orcs.
You gotta
I can't
respect
say let's go Pope no, or they'll revoke my bid.
it.
Let's go, Pope No.
I really like Let's Go Pope No. That's so funny to me.
I really want to get that on a shirt. Let's go Pope no, and it's just like,
Wait, what? It's really
and it's just like a
funny.
little like chibi Noah in a pocket with a Pope hat on, like in the front pocket, like peeking his head out.
Fuck, I want that so bad.
Pope Noah, Pope Noah,